Okay.
We're now live, and we're talking about Gate with Marie. So,
Hi, everyone.
hello out there. Gate's one of my favorite exchanges. You guys have always done right whenever something bad's happened, because bad things happen. Right now there's a lot of recent exciting listings that you've had too. Is there any that you think really stand out?
I think, so we've had quite a few. Harmony, ARPA. We've also had Factom, which was really successful. I think one of the ones that really stood out for me was SERO. We also saw a huge leap in the increase of GT when SERO went up. I think like something on.
How do you spell SERO?
SERO.
Super Zero. Oh my God, that guy! I think his name is Robert.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's crazy. Well done for Robert.
Yeah. He did really well.
He's a hustler. The guy's like not like in a bad sense. I mean that like he attacks. Like he works hard. So SERO was a big one for you guys because it also increased GT.
Yes. So I'm really glad everything that's happened with Gate.io startup because when we originally started, we experienced some issues because obviously when you launch a IEO project, you sometimes have issues with people selling off their shares early and dumping the price. And so we really refined over the maybe like 10, 15 projects that we've launched through the Gate.io startup platform. We really refined that process to make sure that didn't happen. We took a few steps, and as a result from that, CryptoRank has ranked us like the #1 platform in ROI when it comes to investing in IEOs. Yeah. So I think like there's been like a real refinement of like what rules need to be applied. And we always like ask our users if they have any feedback for us. So for example, like now we change like the structure for the fees to, because we're in the bull market, we want to make sure that we're able to support as many new users as possible. So, we have a new tiered fee system. And the really great thing on our platform is that you can buy Gate points. So points are prepaid trading fees. They are the way in which we distributed GT back in April. So people didn't buy GT. People bought prepaid trading fees, the Gate points, and they were able to receive GT as a reward. So that's how we started distributing GT. And so basically, if you're looking to have like really low fees, you're able to buy Gate points, and then you're also able to combine them with like your VIP status and get a discount there too. So you can apply both of those discounts simultaneously, and that gives you actually some of the lowest fees in the industry. So we actually recently did a study on all of the fees in the industry, and we're ranked #1 if your trading costs are under 80,000 BTC, which is the case for most people when it comes to the taker fees. And on the maker fees, we're also one of the top tier. So yeah, lots of things have been happening.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I mean, for people that aren't aware, Points sounds like a much more involved version of a BNB token, the Binance token, right? Because instead of just being like a fee reduction, it's also your gateway into being able to interact with some of the IEOs.
That's correct. So one of the things that we've been focused on is, making sure, and I think something that the industry has to be focused on is making sure that there's accountability when it comes to raising funds for these new projects. Because we saw all of these ICOs and come up, and there's a reason that the build, meme like came about. It's because like nobody was building off of the funds that they were able to raise. So one of the big things that we've been trying to do is making sure that, when they raise funds, they deliver on what they're promising all of the users. So, by raising funds in GT, we're able to lock some of those funds and automatically redistribute them if, they release what they've been promising.
Excellent. So on the IEO side, because it's obvious that that's the route
Sure.
funding's going to go, ICOs are done. What happens now with the IEO is you have an access to liquidity pretty fast because it's connected to an exchange. And at the same time, you have the exchange's stamp of approval, where you're going to start to have this bifurcation between exchanges, the ones that are just listing anything, and then the ones like Gate, which are being much more particular about who they work with. So what do you think is unique about the process you guys have for validating these projects to make sure that quality level is higher?
Our research team is completely separate from all of the other teams. I often have people pitch me projects, and I do forward them to the research team, but it is, I am not involved in the selection. And when we decide to list a company, a regular project, not an IEO project, we take a $0 listing fee. We don't take a listing fee. And that allows us to be completely objective. When you're, making $500,000 or sometimes even more off of a project, then you're not going to be able to be objective. One of the things is we do sometimes ask for money, but not on our end. We're asking for a discount for our users. So we're trying to incentivize our users to start trading the coin. And I think that's really important because obviously, like, the stamp of approval comes from us, right? We're listing the project on our exchange, so we need to get our users interested in it. And how we're going to get interested in by, trying to solicit them to trade the coin. And that's kind of how we go about it. So I think it's beneficial for the project and it's beneficial for the users. And, when it comes to the IEOs, typically we start trading within only like a few days after the IEO project has raised funds. So, we're able to have liquidity relatively soon. There's less market manipulation. It gives them the opportunity to go onto other exchanges and then things flow from there.
Awesome. Okay. I think the fact that you have a separate division doing the research is important. I do know that there's a lot of exchanges that ask for listing fees. And I also know that there's a lot that their whole mantra is list as many tokens as possible.
One of the things is, when you're listing a new coin, you also need all of the technical know-how that goes behind it. So some of these exchanges, they want to have a lot of coins, but they're not necessarily able to because all of that goes in the back end. Second of all, you need to have enough users to trade. And you have to have enough liquidity if you want everything to function well. So we have all that because we have a stellar technical team. We have a lot of users, and we also have high liquidity because we've been around for a long time. So we're able to provide.
There are some Cinderella projects that everybody's trying to get that only you guys, not only you guys, but only the top tier exchanges have access to.
Yeah.
Could you share an example of one, just out of curiosity?
I think we were the first exchange to list Tezos. So that was a really big thing for us. I think SERO, like I said, was a really big win. Factom was a really big win for us, and that was recently. And yeah, I think you know, we started listing Leo from Bitfinex. That was also like definitely something that's going to be helpful in the future. Yeah.
Now, changing gears, because I recently read your interview, being a leader in the space, a female leader in finance. Congratulations on the interview. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
In reading it, I also saw that you're the person that a lot of people go to asking about when to buy Bitcoin. Is it oversold?
Sure.
So should people buy Bitcoin now? Is it oversold? Is it going down?
I think you know, it really depends on what kind of user you are. Most people who come to me asking me that question are typically not traders, right? So my answer to them is do your research on Bitcoin. I trade other coins as well, but I do definitely trade and hold Bitcoin. And so, you know, when I first got started, I did a lot of research on Bitcoin and, you know, whether I thought it was like viable currency, etc. And I came to the conclusion that it was. So I'm also relatively young, and I don't have any like other financial imperatives. So as a result from that, I can invest Bitcoin, and I'm just holding it for the future. And I think that's generally like what I recommend to people. Do your research. If you really feel like you believe in Bitcoin, then like invest in it and like don't even think about taking it out for like the next 2 years. And you can, maybe Bitcoin will go through the roof next week, and you can take it out because you've made 50%. Good for you. But if you have to wait for 2 years, then you have to be ready to put that time in. So, and I think that's really important.
Very responsible answer. I like this. You're doing the financial advisor answer. Do your research.
No. I'm not a financial advisor. No responsibility.
Yes, this is all entertainment purposes. This entire video, nothing is serious. This is just shooting the shit.
But what I will say is, one of the most important things is if you've done your research and you see like Bitcoin going down from when you bought it, then you're not going to be worried. And I think like that's the most important thing, because you don't want to live with the fear of like, oh my God, Bitcoin's gone down, and you're going to be like stressed like all the time. It's going to be awful. So in general, I think like Bitcoin still has a lot of room to grow, like still like a lot of room to grow. In the next 10 years, I think it can go up to 100,000. I think if everything, you know, kind of goes with the flow, it's definitely possible. In the next 2 years, you know, I see it easily going up to 50,000. So, you know, yes, you can't wait.
I'm taking those sound bites. Marie says 100,000, 50,000 tomorrow. Head of gate says going to 50.
But what I mean by that is if you do believe that it's going to go up that high, then investing now when it's at 9,440 today, or when it's at 8,000, you know, 2 weeks from now, or investing at 10,000 next week. Finally, like, it doesn't really matter if you believe that it's going up.
It doesn't. And whenever people, you know, I've said this before. Everyone will call me when it goes down like $100. Everybody forgets me when it goes up 2,000. And whenever it goes down 100, they're always like trying to connect it to something, to like something with Libra. Something's happening with Libra. And I'm like, guys, it has nothing to do with Libra or any of this shit. It's just that's how the market is. You know, some people believe there's manipulation, but I agree with the sentiment. Don't try to rationalize. Hold for the long term. Ignore the back and forth, you know. So in getting into this space, you know, I also read in the interview that you did the MOOC at the University of Nicosia with, you know, Andreas Antonopoulos is obviously a huge figure in the space, and he's a professor there. What was it like? You know, what was the motivation to sign up specifically to the MOOC versus something else? And then what was the experience like?
I think I did a lot of research on Bitcoin, but the thing is online is that there's a lot of, different kind of information, and there's no like one real guide to Bitcoin. And because, it's a very complex subject, and because it's been very popularized, there's a lot of I would say disinformation out there. Sometimes misinformation, but I think most of the time disinformation. So people don't really know what they're talking about. And, all these people were like, oh, the crypto cowboys from a few years ago, they were like, oh, I'm going to make money off of ICOs and stuff like that. Now they've gone back to being growth hackers. So yeah, there was all this disinformation, and I wanted something a little more that had a little more depth, and where I was sure of all the information was correct and true. So yeah, I came across Andreas pretty early on from watching some YouTube videos, and I think he's got such a great personality on camera. I've met him in real life as well. He's like seems like a really great guy. Yeah, it seemed like he got in very early on. He's very knowledgeable, and he also really the experience that I had is he's been doing it for a while, so he understands like where people are struggling to understand Bitcoin, blockchain technology in general, and how to respond to that and all of that. That's really important. It took me maybe 2 different people explaining it and a lot of research to really understand like the value of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's also important who you speak to, right? Because those first few people that they're gonna paint it a certain way, they're gonna give you, and as you said about Andreas, he's done it so many times. He's kind of refined it. He knows exactly. Even I think every time I see him, he just tweaks it more and more.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, that you want to get the most truthful version of education. So you did the MOOC, you did that all online, or did you actually have to go to Cyprus? What was the experience?
No, it's all online. You tune in live. I tune in live a lot of the time, but because I'm on Asian time, sometimes I watch the replays. Live is definitely better. You interact with everybody on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube Live. You interact with everybody on the chat room. You can ask all the questions. It's really great. And I think also one of the things that I appreciated about Andreas's MOOC is he really tries to bring more than just the technical aspect. Not as much as like he could, but that's not really the subject of the MOOC. But I think like when you're in the industry, you often meet a lot of people who are either very tech savvy or very, very financial savvy, or will really look at it from an economist's point of view. And really understanding all of those different aspects is really important to really understand what's going on. And if you're like a real crypto trader, for example, understanding all of, the political climate, the economic climate, just the general trading climate is really important. So I think he tries to bring some of that, those different dimensions into the course. It's been difficult for me to meet people who really are knowledgeable about the tech, the politics, and economics. But there will be more in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, the personalities, they need to change. Right now, we haven't had some new blood in a while. I recently wrote about that. I think that we're going to start seeing some like celebrities, like celebrities outside of crypto coming into crypto, and it might be like, some sort of professor, already at a university, but we're also going to see people like, Ashton Kutcher, coming in and all of a sudden becoming an expert of crypto. You know, because there's also like a lot of young guys too. Like at the Ethereum Foundation, there's this young developer. He's 17. His name's Jake Lang. He's like a prodigy. Then there's this other project I've been working with, Zellcash. They've got this kid. He started it when I think he was 15 or 16. He forked Zcash on his own. So yeah, crazy, right? There's he's not even legal drinking age in most countries, and he's the head of a cryptocurrency. So it'll be interesting to see how these personalities come in. So before we sign off, I want to pick your brain on how I'm going to extract the most value from Gate as a new investor, right? So I come in as a new investor. You know, I'm not going to, you know, small roll, put $1,000. Let's say I put like $20,000, okay? What should I be doing in the line of like points and GT and VIP? Like how do I really game the system to extract the most value?
So I think GT still has a lot of room to grow, actually, because so we launched GT we created it and launched it in April. And GT is going to be the native token of our public blockchain. And
I can buy GT. I can just buy GT. I don't have to buy points for GT.
No. You can buy GT on our exchange. You can buy it on our exchange on Huobi. You can buy it on Bitfinex. You can buy it on a lot of different exchanges.
I'm only doing everything I'm doing is on Gate. So
okay. So you can go onto Gate, and you can. What I would recommend is, you know, according to how much you're looking to trade, go and buy some Gate points. Buy some Gate points so that you're going to get all of those discounts. And you want to hold some GT because so obviously when you buy the Gate points, you're going to have, right now you're getting 0.4 GT distributed to you when you buy $1 US worth of Gate points. $1 US is 1 Gate point. Okay. So you're going to get all this GT. Like I said, according to how much you're looking to trade, you're going to want to hold a certain amount of GT, because if you hold GT according to our VIP tiered scheme, you're going to hit maybe, you know, if you have like maybe like 8,000 GT, you're going to be like a VIP 5. And so you're going to get like 22% discount on all of your trading. Wow. Maybe, yeah. So you invest in GT.
VIP? I want to be the highest. What's the highest VIP?
The highest is VIP 13.
13.
But yeah, but I think with 20K, you don't have like, it's really like for a lot. You're trading a lot. Maybe not VIP 13, but VIP 5 is already pretty good. You're getting a 22% discount plus the discount that you get from having bought the Gate points. You're getting like a very hefty discount off of your trading. So I would do that. I would definitely hold those GT. Like when we launch our public blockchain in December, I'm expecting to see the price rise. It's also going to fuel our decentralized exchange. We're going to be hitting 3 million users by the end of the year, and some of those users are going to go onto the decentralized exchange. So inevitably, GT will be used as fuel, and I would expect the price to go up. So I would definitely hold some GT for one, to benefit from the big discount, and two, just in general as an investment. And then I think in general, you can trade a lot of different things. I think trading Bitcoin is actually quite a good investment. And then I would also just invest in some of the IEO projects on Gate.io startup, because there are, a lot of interesting projects. If you do your research, you can have a pretty high return.
And it was really cool that Crypto Rankings had you guys at #1 in that area.
Yeah. And if you're really good, then we recommend obviously using our margin trading or our futures perpetual contracts feature. And and you know, and invest money in that
I'm
way.
going slow. I'm a VIP 5 right now. Please. I'm going slow. So just so I get this straight.
I believe in you, Dean.
Somebody does. So I start off with points because I'm getting a 0.4 GT for every dollar point.
Mm.
So I start with points. Because I'm going to be trading, I'm going to be getting some GT. And if I have 8,000 GT, I'm going to have a 22% discount on my trading fees.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at that. I'm already pitching for Gate. Done.
Nah.
I love it. And, you know,
Sure.
maybe one day I get to VIP 13.
Maybe.
Okay. This has been excellent. Thank you so much for your time, Marie. And I'm definitely going to circle back once, you know, the price of Bitcoin goes to 50,000. If it happens next week, we're talking next week. If it doesn't, you know, hopefully we'll talk sooner and we don't have to wait till it gets to 50, but I think it'll be pretty soon.
I think so. Thanks so much for having me on, Dean, and I really appreciate it.